to lesson 6, the last half of the first section of polynomials before we go into factoring. So this is the applied stuff. So we have a little bit of, you're doing what we've learned, but you're applying it to different problems. So this one's going to take a little bit of work here. So first off, this one is the area of the given figure. It can be written as a trinomial in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. So we get it into kind of general form there. Determine the values of a, b, and c. So we need to figure out the area of this figure. So we need also to figure out, well, how would I do that? Like what shapes? I mean, this isn't a normal shape, okay? But we can break it into shapes that would be normal shapes. So, for example, okay, yeah, it would be a rectangle of a trapezoid, but yes, that's correct. Okay, because you have no indicator of the same size. Okay, so we have a rectangle and a trapezoid. So then in order to do this, we need to know a rectangle formula, which we do. That's length times width for area. But we also need to know trapezoid, which you may not know off the top of your head. The area of the trapezoid is it's going to be base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height. So it's written like this. B1, B2, base 1, base 2. So this is base 1, this is base 2. Good question. Okay, so that's what we have to do. We have to figure out what we don't know. There are some things we don't know. You are correct. So first off, the rectangle we do know. So let's do the rectangle first. Okay, so the rectangle we know is going to be 3x plus 6 times 2x plus 3. I'll just put an R for rectangle here. 3x plus 6 times 2x plus 3. That's the rectangle area. Yeah, it's just they're different expressions, and it doesn't tell us that they are, so we can't assume it. Okay, so now we're going to go do that. So 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 3 is 9x. 6 times 2x is 12x. 6 times 3 is 18. So our rectangle area is the expression 6x squared, 9 plus 12, 21x plus 18. So now we have to work on the trapezoid. And the problem with the trapezoid, as you guys said, we don't have all the information because we don't know the height. So the height is missing, and then base 2 is missing. We don't know this, and we don't know this right off the bat. Okay, but we can figure it out. This piece, because this whole thing's 4x plus 9, so I take that and subtract 2x plus 3 from it. That'll give me the leftover piece. So for the base 2, we're going to go 4x plus 9 minus 2x plus 3. I got to put brackets on it because I'm minusing the whole thing, not just the 2x. So base 2, 4x minus 2x is 2x. 9 minus 3 is 6. 2x plus 6 is base 2.
Junior class change.
We know base 1, just to make sure we're on the same page, because it says these are the same. So x plus 4, x plus 4. Now we need to find the height. What's the expression for the height of the trapezoid? So we're trying to find this spot here. Yeah, Hannah? Okay, good. So the height is going to be 3x plus 6 minus the x plus 4 here. So we're taking this whole distance and we're subtracting this piece off to get the other piece. Okay, so then height would be 3x minus x is 2x. 6 minus 4 is 2. Height is 2x plus 2. We have everything we need now to go ahead and simplify. Okay, so I'm going to set up now. Base 1 plus base 2. So I'm going to go x plus 4 plus 2x plus 6 all over 2 times 2x plus 2. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify in here first. Okay, so then we're going to get 3x plus 10 over 2. So to avoid fractions, see how this is a fraction? 3 over 2. It's not even. We're going to do something here. Because this is multiplication, so we're going to multiply them first. So I'm going to multiply these tops. 2 times 1 is on the bottom. It's not a big deal. I'm only doing this to avoid having 3 halves. Now, if you can do 3 halves and you want to do 3 halves, you can. It's just you're going to have a lot of fractions everywhere. Okay? So all I'm doing is I'm multiplying the tops, which you can do because they're fractions, and we're supposed to multiply them anyways. 2 times 1 is 2, so everything's going to be over 2. And now you're just doing your FOIL right here. 3x times 2x, 6x squared. 3x times 2, 6x. 10 times 2x, 20x. 10 times 2 is 20. Sorry, I'm running out of room here, so I'm going to go up here. Combine like terms. 6x squared plus 26x plus 20. And now we can divide everything by 2 because they'll have a 2 in it, so I won't have fractions anymore. That's why I did that. So I go 6 divided by 2, 26 divided by 2, and 20 divided by 2. So my final answer is 3x squared, 13x, and 10 is the area of that figure. Okay, oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's the area of the trapezoid. Yeah, I have to add them still. Thank you. I was just looking, I was like, that's a little bit smaller than I remember. Yep, so we have to add these two right here. This guy with that guy. So to finish, the area of the figure, so we'll say AF here, is actually 6x squared plus 3x squared is 9x squared. Let me erase this little guy here. The 21x plus the 13x is 34x. 18 plus the 10 is the 28. Sorry about that. Forgot the easy step. So then what it says, calculate the area if x is 2.5. So you simply put in 2.5 in for your x's and then calculate. Okay, so that's what you're doing. When you do that, you should get 169.25 cubic or square units. Okay. 169.25 units squared. So that's a 2 right there.
Like 34x plus
28. Yeah, 2. Yep. We got 2 more examples here. All right, so let's look at this one here. So it says you have a rectangular garden with a length of 8 minus 3a and a width of a plus 8. Contains 3 square flower beds with the side lengths of 2a plus 5. The remainder of the garden is grass. So draw a diagram to illustrate this. So what they've drawn is okay, so right there. roughly. There's your garden with 3 rectangular square flower beds on the inside. Yep. So then it says write and simplify an expression for the area of the grass of the garden. So what we have to do is essentially find the area of one of the squares. We're going to times it by 3, right? Because there's 3 of them. So our square flower beds will be 3 times that squared. That's the flower beds. So we'll subtract those because they're not grass. We have to subtract those from the garden. So we're essentially going garden minus flower beds. And the garden's expression is 8 minus 3a times a plus 8. So we need to FOIL out the garden, get the flower bed expression simplified, and then subtract the flower beds from the garden. So let's get the garden done first. 8a, yeah. Question? Good. 8 times a is 8a. 8 times 8 is 64. Negative 3a times a is a negative 3a squared. Negative 3a times 8 is negative 24a. So combine your like terms. Negative 3a squared minus 16a plus 64. So that would be your garden expression. Okay, so now do our flower beds. So I'll go over and do the flower bed work. So our flower bed, I need to FOIL out 2a plus 5 and then hit it with a 3. Okay, I'll do the 3 last. That's how I prefer to do it. 2a times 2a, 4a squared. 2a times 5, 10a. This is the pattern. We know this pattern, but I'm doing it out for you. 10a again, and then 25. Combine our like terms. And we're timesing this whole thing by 3 for the flower bed. So flower bed is 12a squared plus 20a plus 25. So we're subtracting these. Negative 3 minus 12. So the answer would be negative 15. Negative 16 minus 20, negative 36. 64 minus 25 would be 39. Yeah. Is it 25? Just want to make sure. Oh, yeah, that's why. Thank you. I was like, wait a second. Good. Got you catching my mistakes today. Okay, 64 minus 75 is negative 11. Perfect. Okay, then part C says if A is negative 1.5, what's the area of the grass? So again, we're calculating that. So we plugged in negative 1.5 here. And that would yield 69.25 square meters. So if you want to try that on your calculator real quick, I'll pause it, and you guys can try that. Just make sure that you can get that. Sorry, one other small thing. I only timed the one thing, unfortunately. Change this right here, guys. Change this right here to 60. Sorry about that. And that just makes this 76. So that's probably why you didn't get 69.25 if you tried it, so I apologize. Shoot. Yeah, I just didn't. I only hit it with a 4. 4, 20, and then 25. Perfect. Okay, let's get to the last one so we can be done here. Okay. Hypotenuse of the right triangle is 5x plus 5 long, and the lengths of the two other sides are 4x plus 8 and 3x minus 5. It says solve for the three sides of the triangle. So what we have to do is we have to use the Pythagorean theorem. So if we have a triangle here, let's see if we can get one going here. So we have our triangle. And so that means that the hypotenuse is here. It's 5x plus 5. Your other sides are 4x plus 8 and 3x minus 5. What's that? Well, but it says we're forming an equation to solve and determine the lengths of the three sides of the triangle. So we're actually trying to solve for x. So we're going to use Pythagorean theorem to compare them to each other. So you'll see we're going to end up solving. So we go 5x plus 5 squared equals 4x plus 8 squared, and then plus 3x minus 8 squared. So knowing the pattern's helpful here because this one would be 25x squared. 5 times 5 is 25, times 2 is 50. Minus 5? Plus 5?
No, on 3x. It's minus 5 minus 5.
Oh, good, thank you. Good. There we go, thank you. Okay, so 25x squared plus 50x, though, we're still good here. And then 5 squared is 25. That's the left side. So we just did the pattern, right? The pattern from our 2 lessons ago. That squared is 25x squared. 5 times 5 is 25. You times that by 2. 50x. 5 squared is 25. So I can do the same thing over here. 4 squared is 16. X squared. 4 times 8 is 32. Times 2 is 64. 8 squared is 64. And the last one, plus 3 squared is 9, x squared. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, times 2 is negative 30. Negative 5 squared is 25. So we want to combine the like terms on the right, and then we want to solve for x. So 16 plus 9 is 25x squared. 64 minus 30 is 34. 64 plus 25 is 89. Okay, so this is where we're at. So if you're freaking out because you're like, I'm not sure I'm going to solve because there's an x squared, look what happens to x squareds. They go away. Look, I have a 25 on both sides. If I minus 25x squared, they're gone. So now we have just x's, and you guys know how to solve from here. You get your x's together. So you move the smallest ones, what I taught you last year for those that have me. Move the smallest x. That's going to be 16x minus 25, which will get you the 64. And then last step is divide. So x is 4. So x is 4, but it doesn't want the actual lengths, so we need to actually plug them in, which is kind of simple mental math. Hypotenuse, if I put a 4 here, 5 times 4 is 20, plus 5 is 25. Hypotenuse is 25 centimeters. This leg, so leg 1, 4 times 4 is 16, plus 8 is 24. Leg 2, 3 times 4 is 12, minus 5 is 7. So 25, 24, 7 is the sides of that triangle. Okay, and that's it. With tons of time to spare. Okay.